Hello everyone and welcome to the Acta Rebuild podcast. I'm Michiel and today we are in Vienna and we're going to be talking with Rossella, one of the DCs of the Acta Rebuild project. The Acta Rebuild project focuses on research on the retrofit of the office building stock in the EU, and it comprises 10 different DCs, doctoral candidates, with each a different topic. And like I said, Rossella is today with us. So welcome, Rossella.
Thank you, Michiel, for this introduction and for this interview. I'm so excited to be here and to, answering to any question that can be for interest of our followers.
No, nice. I'm looking forward to our conversation. So, Rossella, where is your home institute? Where is your home base?
My home institution is STU in Bratislava, and the host institution is KU Leuven at Faculty of Architecture.
Okay, nice. What is your main research focus?
Well, I'm working on development and characterization of biomaterials for heat storage and thermal comfort application, indoor thermal comfort application in buildings. And let's say that in particular I'm working with bio-based phase change materials. Abbreviation is bio PCMs. This type of material are quite important for the heat storage and indoor thermal comfort because they are able to store large amount of heat. For example, just a brief example, water. We can think about the water banally. That is the biophase change material par excellence. Water is a substance that can change its state over a defined temperature range. And when it's melting, the water is able to store a large amount of energy per volume or mass. And on the opposite case, so when it's changing from liquid to solid, is able to also release this energy that's stored when and where we need in order to heat or cool, for example, our indoor spaces.
So then your research covers both looking for a material that can be used and also how to apply it.
Exactly. So some host material in order to host the PCM in large quantities, of course.
Okay. And then how does this integrate in the Acta Rebuild project?
Well, we can say that my research is quite in line with the overall goals of Acta Rebuild project and goals because we are trying to advancing sustainable practice in general, and by focusing on a lightweight structure that can somehow host the PCM, we are trying not just to improve the energy efficiency of our building and reduce, of course, also the energy consumption of our buildings. But we are also trying, to have a more accessible, more affordable, and more energy efficiency at the same time building practice and building environments of our spaces.
You mentioned some different aspects of your research, partly very much the application as an architectural object, but also very much the fundamental and material science research. This is a very interdisciplinary approach. Do you like this? Is this more difficult? How do you feel about this?
Well, difficult for sure, because my background, I'm an architect and I'm specialized in architecture for sustainable design. But actually, my my PhD is in building technology and architecture, so it's more related to building physics. And yes, it's true. There are some. It's a quite interdisciplinary PhD, but it's quite interesting because, at least from my point of view, multidisciplinary. It's something that it's really important, not just in our research, but also in companies, for example, in general. Thinking in a multidisciplinary way, it's really what we need to, create, to develop some more comprehensive and innovative solution, in this case and in this application of Acta Rebuild as team for the application in buildings. But in general, it's quite important because also, at least from my point of view again, materials sometimes are surprising us. So some materials can have a different type of application. I mean, you can have one material, but you can be able to apply this for different topic, different, let's say, topic of our building. So, for example, acoustic correction or acoustic design or energy efficiency, so storage heat, or for example for hygroscopic also point of view. So it's really important, and that's something that must be done from the beginning, so from the let's say design phase, and that's what we are trying to do also in my research.
An interdisciplinary research is very interesting, but it's very difficult to establish. How do you go about this? Do you do it through collaborating with different people? Is everything coming, let's say, from one department?
I graduated in architecture in Torino, and I was working there also after my master's degree. So I'm in touch still with a professor in Torino, so with Politecnico di Torino, and I'm still working with them, so collaborating with them also with my PhD during my PhD. And at the same time also with two different companies that we cannot disclose any, let's say, particular stuff about that because it's quite early.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe now a little bit else, something slightly different than research, because this project also has a big impact on our personal life. For example, one of the things is that in this project you are required to move to a different country for your research. I think you are originally from Italy and now you moved to Slovakia. How did you experience this?
Well, I will say that first of all, it's my first time abroad. So I come from Sicily, I moved to Torino for 6 years, and I move now in Slovakia. I will say that was quite hard to, let's say, getting used to different cultural differences. But what is, let's say, very complicated for me was getting used to lunchtime in Bratislava. You know, but in Bratislava they used to have lunch at 11:30. But at that time in Italy, we used to have our, let's say, second breakfast. So that so-called merenda. So yeah, I mean, it took me, let's say, 1 year of my PhD just to get used about that. But yeah, you have to find your balance. So I can also say that everything it's nice. All is super exciting, and everything. Also, if it is new, it's I think a very nice experience to do in at least 1 month in our life.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with this. Now, if you go back to Italy now, you will have to readjust to the lunchtime as well.
Yeah, it's true.
You seem to be quite happy with your research and with your position in Bratislava. Do you experience this as very fulfilling?
Yes, it is. I think it's very important that I told you does this type of experience abroad, especially, and I'm really happy for this experience that is not just, as I told you, life experience because we are moving abroad, and of course research experience because we are a team, we're quite big, and super interesting team, but it's also some, let's say, personally grow, let's say, experience, and it's something very important that I suggest to everyone to do. Really, it's also young research to go abroad and do it because it's very, very important for, especially for our professional, let's say, growth.
What would you like the final product of your research to look like?
Well, I think it will be okay. As I told you, I'm working with materials, so material and component scales, and so for sure it will be something, let's say, real, something that you can really touch.
So, how do you think you will continue in your career after Acta Rebuild, for example? Would you like to stay in the field of sustainability? Would you like to apply this? Where would you like to go?
Interesting question. Thank you, Mike. Well, I think that doing a PhD is something, hard to do because, okay, it's a PhD, so we do it because we want to do it, and that's important. But actually, I'm doing it because I really want to, let's say, stay and live in academic, let's say, field.
Mhm.
So for sure, I will work still. I will still work on this type of, let's say, field. So sustainability, materials development, and characterization, and hopefully postdoc and then professor and then who knows, but for sure I will work with in this field still.
Yeah, okay. So it's not only a temporary choice, but
No,
very much constructing of a
exactly.
future career. That's very interesting. Do you have any specific plans for the near future?
Well, first of all, I will say publish our innovative research so that our followers can know more about that. And then nothing, just as I told you, try to also give some more knowledge to young researchers. It's very, as I told you, it's very important. So continue with this in this way, and that's all.
For sure, this podcast is completely oriented about exchanging and sharing information that we gather in the Aktaribut project. So, to all of our listeners, if you want to get to know more about Rossella, you can listen to future podcast episodes, or you can also check out some podcast episodes from other DCs or Monica, the project supervisor. In any case, many thanks for listening to this podcast. And if you would like to know more, you can follow us at our Facebook page, Aktaribut, or also on Instagram or LinkedIn, or at our very own website. We hope to see or hear you again. And thank you for listening.